Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a really powerful perspective from Charles Obore. We're going to look at how colonial history has shaped modern inequities and, more importantly, what it might take to build a future that's truly centered on community. So, let's get into his ideas.
Okay, so to really get this, you have to understand that at the heart of this story are two completely different worldviews clashing. On one side, you've got a culture that's all about community, about working together, and on the other, a system that's built on control, on division and power.
And this clash, well, it really kicked off when colonial powers arrived. As Obore explains it, they didn't just show up. They made a point of intentionally breaking down those community structures that were already there. Why? To establish control. I mean, the change was just so dramatic. Before, leadership was all about collaboration, right? Everyone focused on the common good. But the system that was forced on them, it completely corrupted this. It created these hierarchies where a few chosen people would basically push the colonial agenda. It just fundamentally flipped the core values from community to power. And this is such a critical point. It wasn't just about swapping out one leader for another. No, this was a complete overhaul of what leadership even meant. The whole focus shifted from what's best for all of us to who's in charge here. So, this new way of thinking didn't just stop with leadership. It made its way right into the classroom. And in doing so, it completely redefined the purpose of education for generations.
See, before all this, education was informal. It was practical. It was all about teaching kids how to survive, how to thrive in the real world, their community. But the colonial system had other plans. The goal wasn't community survival anymore. It was about creating a workforce that would just do what it was told. So education got yanked out of the community and put into this formal system with a totally different agenda.
And this quote from Obore just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly lays out the strategy. Give people just enough knowledge, like basic English, so they can function in the new system. But, and this is the crucial part, hold back the critical thinking skills, the very tools they need to solve their own community's problems. It was literally education for function, not for empowerment. Now, the deepest impact of all this wasn't just about institutions or systems. It was psychological. It was profound. And it created a kind of trauma that, as Obore describes it, you can still hear echoing today. Just think about that idea for a second. That single powerful message became the bedrock for systematically taking apart a people's cultural identity and their self-worth. By branding everything local as evil and everything foreign as good, you plant this deep, deep seed of inferiority. And what happened next was this devastating domino effect. Once you're told your culture is worthless, everything connected to it starts to fall apart. Your values, your sense of who you are, and that fundamental pride in your own identity. This whole process led to what we call internalized inferiority. It's this deep-seated belief that your own race is somehow less capable, that you have to rely on others for answers. It's that feeling, as Obore puts it so powerfully, that we cannot live on our own. And make no mistake, this isn't just something from the history books. Obore makes it clear that this way of thinking is still alive and well today. You can see it in how kids see themselves, how they see each other on the playground, where a white child might still automatically be seen as the smarter one by their own peers. So the big question is, how do you even begin to heal a wound this deep? Well, according to Obore, the way forward starts right back in the classroom. It starts by making a conscious choice to reclaim those cultural ways of learning and to rebuild everything that was lost. And this really becomes the most important question for any teacher or leader. It's not just about teaching math and reading anymore. It's about actively, intentionally rebuilding the self-esteem and pride that was so systematically torn down. So Obore suggests reviving this traditional model he calls fireplace learning. Just picture it. A social gathering where elders are sharing stories, sharing their wisdom, and the kids, they're not just sitting there quietly. They are a core part of it, encouraged to ask questions, to share their own ideas. It's learning as a real community event. And when you bring that kind of atmosphere into a classroom, what you're doing is directly fighting back against that old narrative of inferiority. You're creating a space that's specifically designed to build up a sense of value, of belonging, and of just limitless potential. And finally, this whole mindset shift has to go beyond the classroom. It has to change the very way the world thinks about offering help to these communities. You see, there's a huge difference between giving someone a solution and supporting a community to find its own. If you just show up and build the classroom, you might mean well, but you could also be reinforcing that same old idea that they can't do it themselves. Real empowerment, that comes from recognizing the potential that's already there and supporting their solutions. This question, right here, becomes the ultimate challenge. It completely flips the script on aid and moves us away from that top-down model of just giving things and toward a partnership, a model of support that's built on respecting a community's own strengths and abilities.
Because the talent is already there. Obore really emphasizes this. These communities are filled with brilliant young people, people who have the ideas to solve their own problems. They just need to be seen, to be supported, not to be overlooked or replaced. And that really leaves us with this final, powerful thought to chew on. What if true progress, the final step in undoing all this historical damage, isn't about some outside intervention at all? What if it's about creating the right conditions for a community to unlock the incredible potential that it already has inside?
Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Thanks for watching.